Yep.
I used to watch that I used to really like that.
I haven't seen that in years.
I used to really like it. It's long as can be, though.
I just remember him from the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Was he Moses too in something? Or
Yeah, he's
not
Moses.
Noah in something? No,
I don't know.
maybe
He's Spartacus. Wait, right?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
Before our time.
This is definitely before our time.
Mm-hmm.
I used to watch the Ten Commandments.
I've seen
comes
it.
on at Easter every year.
Still?
I think so.
I don't know. I have to. That's one of those I need to go back and watch to see if it was as good as if I remember. You know?
Made it woke probably now.
Yeah. New translation. They.
Yeah.
You know.
They use the.
Format. Yeah.
Dang, I can't think of the name of it. What's wrong with me?
I don't know.
It's my joke I use all the time.
I don't know what you're going to try to say.
The Bible translation that's goofy.
Oh, what is that? You say it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Message.
Yeah, the message. That's what they use now.
Yeah.
To tell the story. So.
Yep. Probably didn't happen.
No, probably didn't happen.
No.
What's up, man?
No, you know me. Just here, me and you again, because
me and you.
Anthony's traveling the world or something.
Or something. Yeah. I think this might actually literally be baseball this time.
Yeah.
I think Meyer, his son, is in a tournament and they are off doing the thing.
Doing the baseball thing.
Doing the thing. You and your Niners. How many Niners shirts do you have, man?
These are repeats. I've worn these on podcasts in the back. I have a lot. Some are a little tight right now.
Most of my clothes are tight right now. I got
about probably 10 that fit right now, but overall probably about 40.
You have 49er like shirt, hoodie.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I agree. It's real bad.
But you know, I get a lot of stuff off the fanatics.com. I don't know if you get anything on that.
Yep.
And like these are Nike, so these are nice. But if you get the Fanatic brand, you kind of never. They're cheaper, but you never know what you're going to get.
That's true.
So
I've got a couple of Mav shirts. You're like,
yeah. So you got to kind of splurge and get like because Nike sponsors the NFL.
Yep.
So if like these are a little bit more expensive, but they're comfortable and they'll last a lot longer, and they won't like look like I'm having wings. Like try to stretch a shirt out a little bit, and then you put it on, it looks like a dress or whatever. It's like I can't wear that. Or you hang it up on a hanger and it's got the big, the
hooks. Bumps.
Yeah, like
it's got the bumps. Yeah.
So no, Kayla takes a lot of my clothes too, and
you hang up. Do you hang up your T-shirt?
Shirts like this, I would.
Do you really?
These aren't cotton. These are the.
Yeah, I don't hang shirts like that up.
I only hang these T-shirts. I have put them all in. I have Kyle, you're gonna embarrass me. I have like a couple 49er shelves where I put all the shirts and
I'm
shorts,
sure you do.
Socks, sandals.
Yeah, you get it all.
Hats, hoodies,
cups,
keychains, wallet.
You're in it.
I have a 49er wallet.
I believe it.
I do.
Yeah.
I had another old wallet, and Kayla got me for a couple years for something, so I just use it.
Yeah.
Kind of old. Sometimes I'll, kind of cover it up when I take it places because,
Yeah.
40-year-old man with a 49er wallet or whatever. No Velcro. No Velcro.
No Velcro.
For the people.
It's okay.
Velcro would be nice, though. Then nothing would fall out.
Grown man with a 49ers wallet.
Hey,
Is that the demarcation of...
I'm going to use it until they win a Super Bowl, so...
Okay. What if that's what's holding them back? Is you using the wallet?
Well, they've lost Super Bowls before. I've only had this wallet a couple of years, and they've lost...
Okay. Okay, I got you. So it's not the thing.
That's not what's holding them back.
Not holding back.
I mean, they've lost 3 Super Bowls since I've been married.
Yeah. At least you've been there.
Yeah.
At least you've been there. At least you've been there.
13, 19, and 23. Yep.
Yeah.
But
the Cowboys hadn't even been to a championship game.
Yeah, all theirs were on VHS tape, right?
I mean, yeah.
The draft's going on too. I don't know what we're doing with the draft, but I trust. I mean,
you get a good.
I love when you get on like a 49ers page or whatever, and you have all these fans. Oh, GM don't know what they're doing. Saying how bad everybody is because they pick somebody that they don't think. Like, how many days and months they've scouted these people?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like you've been to 4 NFC Championship games in 5 years, but we don't know what we're doing. Like,
you gotta
just sit back and relax.
Chill out.
Next year we probably won't do well because you can't win every year, right?
Yeah.
Fire the coach. I'm like,
are you losing your receiver? Are you losing?
I haven't checked anything recently, so
what's
I don't know.
What's his name? The stud Debo.
Oh, Debo. I would keep Ayuk over Debo only because Debo's hurt.
He does get hurt. He does.
If he was healthy all the time, I would.
He's crazy good. Yeah.
He is, but he misses. So
He does
much.
miss. He does miss.
But
yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, well,
All right.
football's coming.
Football's coming. Still basketball.
Still basketball.
And baseball.
Yeah.
We still have those sports going on. Well, we're going to do a little bit of a new thing today.
We're going to try it.
We haven't done this. Yeah, we're going to, I don't know what we're going to call this, but we're like picked a character of the Bible, and we're going to talk about him.
Or her.
Or her. Yeah, this
today-
is our first one.
Yeah.
So we are, and we kind of went the route of not, like I would say, not maybe definitely a prominent character, but not we're not doing David.
No,
We're not doing Noah.
This is one you might need to go read the story again if you haven't read it in a while, because there's a lot of information in there.
Yeah.
But I mean, the story will be familiar to most people, but
yeah,
a good reread of the story.
Yeah, it was great. It was really interesting. So we're going to talk about. So we'll do a player profile, or whatever we're doing here.
From Israel.
Yeah, from Israel. The tribe Manasseh. I can't remember. I forget how to say his.
That's
Manasseh.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Forget how to say
the
his
weakest
tribe.
of the tribes.
The weakest of all tribes.
That's what it says.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Gideon.
Good old boy Gideon.
The prophet. Yeah.
Yep.
Timid Gideon, right? So we're just going to chat about him today.
We're going to try to.
We're going to try to.
But don't judge us on our Bible knowledge or anything like that.
No pun intended.
No.
No pun. You and your puns. That's good. Very punny.
I didn't mean to do that.
That's good. I like that. No, don't judge us. Like Gideon judged the Israelites. So, let's just dig in. So, I mean, I don't know, like the high level of the story of Gideon is that he was a prophet. They were at the time, because Israel was once again turned away from God and was doing evil things. God had let the Midianites kind of really oppress them. So, like, I mean, this is just the story of Israel, right? It just over and over and over in the Old Testament.
Well, this one was so bad, like they couldn't even, like, their cattle and livestock, correct me if I'm wrong, was getting slaughtered.
Yeah.
Their crops were getting destroyed. So this picks up where he's basically hiding in a cave, correct?
Well, I mean, he's threshing wheat and I can't remember. It's like in a wine. Let's just put it this way: he's indoor threshing wheat, where you would do out in a field.
Yeah,
is what I understand.
Yeah,
because he's basically hiding from the Midianites when the angel appears to Gideon. Right.
Correct.
He does call him a. What does he say? It's great.
Well, and at this time too, Gideon and his family, they don't think they were following Jesus, or not Jesus, God, right? Because they were all worshiping idols, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So when he sees an angel of God, what do you think?
Yeah.
He was scared, right?
Yeah, he got scared. I mean, I think everybody gets scared with angels. Like, everybody's all freaked out. But he was already, like, scared of the Midianites. So he's hiding as he's working. Mm-hmm. And then the angel appears to him and calls him a mighty man of valor, right? Isn't that what he says?
That's what it says.
That's what he says. So that's what God is kind of speaking into Gideon, even though he was, I mean, oftentimes we read, you hear the story of Gideon, the word timid comes up quite a bit. And, but yeah, so the high level is hiding from Midianites. They're oppressing the Israelites heavily. God calls Gideon, so sends an angel to Gideon and says, I want you to save my people. And then we kind of go through this whole process. The first thing he asks him to do is to destroy the altar of Baal. It's like in the center of their like town, I guess.
It wasn't Gideon. Correct me if I'm wrong on this too. He was the youngest, so he's a younger.
I think that's right. Yep.
Younger guy. I don't know exactly how old he was, but he's not like a 40-year-old man. I don't think at this point. With his own family. Yep. I'm gonna assume he's a teenager. I have no idea. Maybe in his 20s. I don't know. Yeah. But he was younger. So he was the youngest of his family.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned too, like he was reluctant, and I think part of that was because he even mentions to God because he is from the lowest of the tribes, right? So he was kind of insecure. So it's like part of his weakness too. Even though God's calling him, we do that all the time, right? We have a hard time coming to. I think if you draw a parallel, which of course the Bible's not about us, but if you draw a parallel there, it's. Man, I have a hard time sometimes understanding how much God loves me for me, and we get driven by a lot of insecurities, right?
Absolutely, and that just festers, and then you just...
Yep. It's the lie, right? The enemy loves to feed that lie. So there's a couple of things that caused him to be that way. So yeah, young, he's already kind of scared, and then he mentions that he's from like the lowest tribe, so that was like a big deal. But yeah, so God does call him,
Mm-hmm.
He goes and he does this thing where he knocks the altar down, right?
Yep.
And then like the pole. What was the pole of Nasha? A Nesh?
Yeah, and I probably should have done more research on that. But
basically where they worship Baal. Where they worship Baal. And so they gave him a new name, right?
Yeah, they did.
And I can't say, I don't remember exactly how to say it. I should have listened to a guy read it. That's what we should have done.
Yeah, we should have.
Let's see here. He gave him a new name.
Jerubal or something?
Jerubal.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
But
and it means that, it basically just means that God, Baal will deal with him, is what it says. They called him, oh, shoot.
I just read it too, name.
Oh, well.
Lost it.
It's fine. Gideon's a cool cat, though, man. I really like this story. I love
so
it.
once he did that, all of his tribe was really upset with him, right?
Yeah, they're upset.
So
they're like
upset,
poking. You're poking the Midianite bear.
Mm-hmm. And then his dad basically said, if Baal is so powerful, then let him kind of handle Gideon.
Yeah, that's how they gave him his name, right?
Yeah.
And so the name means let Baal deal with him.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Right.
something like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff.
So, yep.
I like it. So that happens, and then God says, I want you to go, like, gather the army, and I want you to go kill the Midianites. I want you to I'm going to give you victory. And there was, man, this is the crazy part. There's 32,000 member army for the Israelites. And I think they're going to go up against over 4 times as many.
This is the whole country of Israel, right? This isn't just their tribe.
Yeah, not just his tribe. It's the whole country. But they're going to go fight this massive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is like kind of the story too of Israel, right? They just God gives them victory, but
4-1 basically.
Yeah, 4-1, and so like 120 to 130,000 army of Midianites. And so God then tells Gideon to let's reduce, let's reduce down.
Reduce them down.
So he keeps going, and keeps going, and keeps going, and so it ends up with 300 warriors.
It's crazy.
It is crazy, man.
Well, I like the part where I can't remember the exact verse. He's like, anyone that's scared, send them home. Like 10,000 people left.
They immediately.
See ya.
Like, I'm
Peace
scared.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go. I'll go.
I'm good. So that happens, and then that's when I think that I can understand, and I guess God's not always this patient, but I can understand why he was very reluctant. But he does end up asking for like a sign that you're gonna be with us, right?
Yep.
Well, he does it twice. And I was gonna try to get. I've kind of lost my place, man.
That's all right.
Yeah, or say with the 300 men that lapped, I will save you and give the Midianites into your hands, because they drank from the river, right, like dogs.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, if you drink,
all the rest got down on their knees to drink.
Yeah,
and they cupped it with their hands and lapped it up like dogs. And so that's the ones that God said are going to be the warriors, right? Before they even did it, God said that. Separate those who lap the water with their tongues as the dog laps from those who kneel down to drink. And so there was only 300 that did that, which is a weird way to drink, by the way.
They
were the crazy. They were the crazy people. That's what it was. So, so that's who he was going to take into battle. Yep. I was trying to see if they. I know they attacked them in camp, like guerrilla warfare.
Well, they surrounded them, right?
Yep.
So they had torches, and then they surrounded the camp. The 300 Israelites surrounded them. And then did they scream and shout and have the torches?
Scream, shout, blew trumpets, broke...
Basically just scared them.
Yeah, went crazy.
And that's a God thing, right? Like, you think if there's 135,000 people in a camp, that's a big camp. And 300 people around that camp, they would, with torches. I mean, you could see 300 torches. I mean, they should be able to see, like, oh, there's not 100,000 torches.
We did skip over the fleece.
We knew we would.
I knew that. Yeah, that's like a big part. Yeah, let's go back.
Yeah.
So he does knock over the altar, right? You're right. The name was Jerubbaal. Jerubbaal. That means let Baal contend with him. And then the Spirit of the Lord came on Gideon, and he blew a trumpet summoning the Abiezrites to follow him. He sent messengers throughout Manasseh, calling them to arms, and also into Asher, Zebulun, and Naphtali. So those were the tribes that were involved. So that they too went up to meet them. And then Gideon said to God, if you will save Israel by my hand, as you have promised, look, I will place a wool fleece on the threshing floor. If there is dew only on the fleece and all the ground is dry, then I will know that you will save Israel by my hand, as you said. And so it happened. He did that. God was cool. You're testing me, and I'll show you. So the next day he got up early. He squeezed the fleece and wrung out the dew, a bowl full of water. And then Gideon said to God, "Don't be angry with me, but let me make just one more request," which I thought was really funny.
Yeah.
Like it's a kind of a funny way to approach it. Yeah, human, man.
Well, they're human.
Yeah, and this is actually before God asked him to reduce down. So I had it mixed up. But allow me one more test with the fleece, but this time make the fleece dry and let the ground be covered with dew. And so God did. And then only the fleece was dry. All the ground was covered with dew. And so then from there, Jerubbaal, Gideon, was on, man. He's in. So let's do it. And then the Lord said to Gideon, you have too many men. I cannot deliver Midian into their hands, or Israel would boast against me. So basically,
I see.
He's saying that, like, I need to reduce the army down because if we do this, Israel's going to think it was for them. Like, they did it on their own because their mighty army is so big. And so that's when they started the reduction. And they get down to, it's like, like you said, 10,000 leave first, and it leaves them with like 20,000 men. And then they go through these little things and they get to the drinking part of it. But yeah, crazy, man. I mean, that's the gist of Gideon, though, is the, you're not going to be able to hear me, but that was the deal, is that he, like, kind of was timid, reluctant, and then asked God to give him 2 signs. And God was like willing to do that, which I thought was, I mean, obviously God's perfect, but I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. And then they went and they beat the first army, right? Or had the army scattered. You know, if you want to keep reading or
that's when they do the with the 300 trumpets sounded, the Lord caused the men throughout the camp to turn on each other with their swords. So basically, like, the camp of Midianites killed each other. Okay. Because they didn't know it was dark, they didn't know what was going on. So it basically created chaos. And so then that reduced the army. Down. Yeah. And then they just went after them. So
yeah, this part was pretty savage, really. I mean, they went from, I mean, they ran ahead, and they're like, nope, we'll find you. And then
they chased them down.
I'm like, goodness. Yeah. I think we forget, like, the Old Testament sometimes, right? Because
it's straight brutal, man.
A lot of times pastors don't preach stories from it. They'll reference a few verses here and there to make it correlate with what the message is from the New Testament. But, like, some of these Old Testament stories.
Yeah, they're tough.
They're tough to...
They make some good movies, probably.
Yeah. I mean, Joshua would be a good movie character.
Oh, yeah. Joshua's awesome. Yeah, we meant to do him.
But Gideon, he was faithful, right? Like, he listened. He did what the angel and God told him to do. And
I think that's the biggest takeaway is the faith and obedience. Also, like, God using, just like always, right? There's, I mean, even the story of David. I mean, he was young when he killed Goliath.
Shepherd boy wasn't.
Yeah, shepherd boy. You know, yes, which is like low of the low, right?
Low of the low.
Yeah, it's.
He always does that, and like you know, God knew Gideon. Well, of course, God was helping him, but like, it just points everything back to God, right? Reduce the army. I'm going to use Gideon. It's pretty cool. It's just a really cool story. Kyler, my youngest, was actually talking about this at the dinner table a couple weeks ago, and that's cool. He knew quite a bit of it too.
Of Gideon, yeah. That's good.
They get quite a bit of it in school.
Yeah, my kids don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like it. I mean, like, God's patience with Gideon was huge. I think I took some notes. Like, I was kind of thinking from a leadership perspective because he did lead the army, right?
He did.
I was thinking that it was like his strengths were that he had courage. Not at first. He had doubts, but then did follow through, right? So even when God asked him to go destroy the altar, I mean, that had to be...
I'd be terrified.
And if you think about that,
that's all he knows.
That would have to be... Oh, no. I've got to... Let's see here. Let me make sure I'm not... Sorry, man.
You're good.
Yeah. It's all he knows. So he had... Like people should know I'm recording a podcast. They shouldn't bug me. Yeah. So yeah, it's all he knows. But when he went and destroyed the altar, I think that was pretty awesome because that had to be scared. He was threshing wheat and hiding, and I think at this time too, they mentioned that Israelites were probably living in like caves and hide in like. To me, it just not. They didn't have like a village because they would just get.
Yeah, they're not thriving at all.
Yeah, they're not thriving at all.
Basically on the run.
Basically on the run. That's right. And so the strengths were he was victory over the Midianites. He led Israel in this crazy victory with a small amount of men, defeated a much larger army. He had spiritual courage, and then he also had a lot of humility when offered the kingship. Gideon refused it, and that's at the end. So that's in Judges 8, like you were talking about. So it's like 6 through 8 is this whole story. So chapter 6 through 8, worth a good read.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to read too. Really, it's not really long. It's a few minutes.
Well, it's like kind of like you talked about. You get into these kind of exciting, somewhat exciting stories, even if they're can be violent. But some of the weaknesses he showed was like the doubt and testing of God. So he had a lack of trust a bit, which we all experience that often. He was reluctant, so he hesitated for a few reasons. Insecurity, despite God's promise, he struggled with the idea that he was inadequate. He needed constant affirmation through the process, right? To an extent, it was pretty crazy. But yeah, I think the story teaches about faith and obedience and God's ability to use imperfect people. So.
Yeah, and that's one quote I have here from some of this other stuff I printed off. It says, God is not looking for the best qualities and the most accolades. He's seeking those who are like Gideon and regular people, just living for Christ in their daily lives. Serving God faithfully is not about quantity; it's all about quality.
Yeah,
that's kind of sums it up a little bit too. Like he can use all of us, right?
Yeah, I think that's a part of it too. Is it shows there's a reliance on God that Gideon had to demonstrate, and which one reason they reduced the army down, and just like that humility piece of it. Same with David when he was young, like you think of the story of Samson and all these characters were naming, and like not until he was broken did God ultimately use him, right? Like it's just that arrogance got in the way, and then boom,
he gave him a little gave him all the strength and
so like I think there's something to that story too, which is it's affirming for us because we're not. I don't know.
It makes him human too, though, right?
Yeah,
like it
absolutely
because of like Samson. If he never would have got Delilah and all that, then at the end he wouldn't have went back to God. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
kind of?
It wouldn't be broken, right?
Like David the same way, had an affair and
he's human. Yeah. It's good to connect to these attributes because we're the same, right? Yeah. I can't imagine if we were. You put yourself in that position if you were very oppressed, and God asked you to step out there. I think about that.
It's hard to even imagine that, right? Like everyone's worshiping something other than God.
Yep.
But then he calls you, and you're like, "Wait a second,
Time out. Yeah, no, it's good, man.
But,
it's a good story.
It did talk about idols a lot too, and we always are making fun of the Israelites. Oh, they did that. We have our own idols, now, and I think people forget that. And that cell phones, social media, whatever's taking you away from God, to me is considered an idol.
Yep,
is that?
I think so. Yeah, I think you don't have to build a golden calf. I think we do even your own. Like knowledge, right? Like I think about often how we lean into our own ability to help ourselves. Like we the self-help movement is a big deal. I think about that. I think about even like with our kids, our spouses. Like you put them above God, they become an idol in your life. Your career.
So easy to do. We always
Yep.
So easy to do. But did you want to dive in? I haven't talked about this. Was your grandpa Gideon or something?
My grandpa was, yeah. So was it the Gideon International? What is it called? I looked that up too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and it started in 1908. Did you know that?
1908. I did not know that.
They started in 1908, and it was basically businessmen, and they were just taking and putting Bibles in hotel rooms or in motel rooms.
I knew they kind of started there.
Yeah. So you ever go to like one and there's a Book of Mormon there in its place?
In its place, there's not even a Bible there anymore.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like that's a thing that happens. Like
so, the Mormons take the Bible, or
probably that's my guess. So you know what I do?
Leave a Bible.
I just take the Book of Mormon. I'm just kidding.
That's where you get all these copies. Yeah, 24 copies of Mormon and
thousands of copies. I'm just kidding. I don't do that.
But I wonder if people are I mean, because that's the purpose. They want people to take those Bibles and use them, correct?
Yeah, I think so, or maybe for the people staying there. I'm not sure what the purpose is. Gideon's International, that's what it's called. And yes, my grandfather was a Gideon. And I know, so what I know, or what I think about is the little Bible. They got a cool little emblem.
Yes.
Which is like, I think like the torch lamp that, it's
they
cool.
They usually hand out little white Bibles, but I remember every once in a while there's like light blue.
I have a red one.
Do you have a red one?
Yeah. I have a little red one somewhere. I don't know if it's for like different, I don't know what
areas
it's for.
Maybe of the country.
Maybe, but my grandfather, I remember him handing them out at school when I was a kid. Yeah.
I remember like high school graduation. Yeah. New Testament plus Psalms or whatever.
Yeah, it's a little bitty guy. Yeah, it's the little Bible. You can. I probably can't even read it. It's so small now. But it started in 1908, and it was basically businessmen doing that. But there was a mention that they've actually handed out 2 billion Bibles.
2 billion
in like 90 different languages or something like that.
That's crazy.
I had some notes. Let me see if I can pull them up. It was pretty interesting. But that is like the first thing I kind of think about when you say Gideon. I mean, I think about a warrior that wasn't a warrior, right? That's what I think about. God spoke that into him and created a warrior in spite of himself. And
we were talking a little bit too, like right after Gideon, the Israelites fell away again, right? We were talking about that a little bit. Like it's
back and forth, man.
It's constant.
Yeah, it is constant. Where's that at?
We'll have to do another podcast on the current state of Israel one of these days, but I'm not prepared to do that today.
Yeah. No, I don't know if I'll ever be prepared to do that.
I didn't do enough reading and research on that, but...
Yeah, they were here's the notes. It says, in 1908, it was an Association of Christian Businessmen, and they were placing Bibles in hotel rooms. And it now is like this large organization that now they go, but it says they have taken more than 2 billion scriptures in more than 95 languages to 200 countries and territories.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. This is their, I won't say like their tagline, but this is their, it says they exist as an advocate for the lost to bring them the saving knowledge of the word through not only placing and distributing scriptures, but also through personal witnessing and by associating together for service. That's pretty powerful, man.
It is.
It's pretty cool. But yeah, I do think of them. I do think of them. Yeah, that is when I hear the name Gideon, which is cool. Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Great character. Check it out. I mean, like Lucas mentioned, there's a lot of pretty crazy stories in the Old Testament, and Gideon's is definitely one of them. And cool dude, man.
He is.
Yeah, cool dude, and was used by God. Yep. So, all right, man. You got anything else?
I think that's it.
We stumbled our way through our first profile.
Our first one. We'll get better.
We'll get better. Yeah, we'll have to
get better.
We'll figure out we'll have to do it like they do the draft somehow. We'll get pictures pulled up, and then we'll walk through stats and tell them 40 times. And
could have started out with maybe one a little bit easier than Gideon.
Yeah, Gideon's a little tougher. Yeah,
that's all right.
We started with like
something.
Maybe we'll get the disciples down at some point. That'd be kind of cool.
How they all
run through each one of those guys. Yeah. That'd be fun. Ooh, Elijah. That'd be a good one. I like that guy. Pretty cool too.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. All right.
Pretty good.
Well, I'm good. You good?
I'm good, man.
All right. Thanks for listening. Adios.